priced out, though.
But we have a bid here for our, a price here for one for $2,140. So I think we should go ahead. Somebody's going to bump into that.
And they have one in stock. He had me go get a bid. They've got one in stock in light gray. I understand that's what you want to go to.
Yeah.
But it's just a basic 4 walls with a door, no windows or nothing.
Storage unit.
What is it used
And
for?
they can bring it the same day they...
Training aids, like they store their training aids and stuff like
All the
that in
training
there?
aids, and the junior golf stuff.
I guess we don't have much storage for
We
golf
don't.
anyway, do we?
No, we really don't. So this really, because the kids were always putting stuff in there and all the training stuff
No
is in
space in
there.
the cart barn?
That's packed.
Wow.
So,
I don't see us getting a bid south of that.
no.
No kidding.
No.
So I'd like to make a motion to accept this and have Lloyd purchase this for $2,140.02.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay.
I just had a question on like zoning, anything on that? Do we have to get any permits?
No, because it's a movable structure. It's just a little building you put on skids, as long as you can move it like that. And you don't hook up plumbing or electrical.
Construction.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of that, when do you want me to come get the old one then?
We haven't had any on the other ones.
No, it's when do you want me to come get that one? When do you want me to come get that one?
Might as well get it out of there.
We're going to, well, I'll talk to you, but we're going to pull both of those out.
Okay.
Bank drop and that other one.
The leaning tower of Pisa?
Yeah. Does anybody want that?
Yeah.
He's coming out Thursday, the spot where we're going to put all this stuff
All right, cool.
and get set up.
Okay. All right, thank you,
Taking a
Lloyd.
shot walking in 10, within 10 feet of that thing.
See, keep getting more and more, leaning more and more. Don't lean up against it.
No, don't lean up against it. Okay, that's all I have for the pro shop. Next is the Corkscrew Pines. Tony, you're on.
If you all received a copy of the affidavit of authorization signed by Eileen's chair that says it's been executed and delivered subject to the conditions that are in the affidavit of authorization, and it's specifically conditioned upon recording of the deed restrictions, declaration of covenants, conditions, and restrictions for Corkscrew Pines, and substantially the final form that was attached, which was the set approved by the board that has as part of its prohibited uses convenience stores, gas stations, and other prohibited uses. And then that the property that is the subject of this application, the declaration won't be transferred, conveyed, or sold unencumbered by these conditions. And so I sent a copy of that to Mr. Chaffee, his attorney, and asked him if they wanted the original to get contact me. I've not heard a thing since then.
Right, but it's,
So that's the latest I know.
okay.
And I've met to contact Tim Hardison Village. I've not better follow up and see what this is.
Okay,
It was interesting exercise going through
yes, it was.
cleaning up the site plan to cross off any reference to convenience stores. And that was the site plan that was provided had that. So
But the one positive thing is that the deed has been changed, so there will not be a gas station or convenience store or
the
car
governments
wash.
will be there to prohibit that.
Right.
In the future, or anything like that.
I'm sorry?
In the future,
No, that's what this whole deed restriction thing
Correct,
is.
and also the covenants provide that the sections in the declaration of covenants, restrictions dealing with prohibited uses cannot be changed or amended without the district's approval.
Right.
And that even if there's a withdrawal, typical covenants say that additional property can be added, the property can be withdrawn. And so there's language in there that says the property is withdrawn, it's still subject to this prohibition. So I mean, you're trying that you can't ever guarantee, you're trying to take the boogeyman approach as to what, if I was developer, what would I try to do?
So,
We
right.
widened the net a little bit. We included 18 different type of businesses that are not ones that we would want there, things that we think.
yeah, itemized.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and for the convenience store, we use the definition in the village code, and that's how we drafted it.
so that won't be there. I do
Hopefully,
think,
there won't be any further.
let's hope not. I know they were talking about an Ace Hardware or a Aldi's. I think those
Yes.
were the two that were being addressed, and I don't think either one of those would be offensive to the community. So, So another hurdle we jumped. Okay. Consideration of the walkway replacement on Stony Brook Golf Drive. Chuck, what are we doing with this?
This actually came through the email.
Yeah, this came through the
Okay.
email. I mean, we've had other emails coming through about issues with the walkway.
Didn't we talk about that being part of the road project?
Yeah, it's really just becomes a timing issue. Now that you're kind of
Right.
on a little bit of a notice here that you've got some trip issues out there.
I think the issue is lighting. I know the issue is lighting because I walk that path every week, so.
It's also, it's
Not
lighting.
always lighting.
It-
We had somebody wreck their rascal during the day.
What is a rascal?
It's a little
Rascal,
scooter.
man.
The Jazzy.
Yeah, the little
Scooter.
trike scooter, the rascal.
Gooter.
Is that
rascal?
exercise? Or is that
Rascal?
just a way to get back and forth to the clubhouse?
You can't walk.
No, there are spots, you're right, but I thought someone tripped is,
We did have one of those, and that's
Yeah.
actually scheduled to be done at the same time they're doing the parking lot.
Okay, so, guys, one meeting at a time, please. So they're going to mill that whole thing and then redo it?
The one, what is it, Furwich?
Burwich is one of them, and
Yeah,
then,
that's the one where they're going to totally remove what's there, relay the base and relay the asphalt.
Yeah, that's a real small, that's the
Yeah,
little,
it's just-
that goes from the
It's like a
main.
$2,700 job.
Yeah.
If you're talking about doing the entire length of Stony Brook Drive, that's some big one.
yeah.
okay.
Chuck, has Johnson Engineering drawn up the specs for the walkway as well?
My last check-in with them, it should be due out any day, and I just sent a reminder today, because he told me about 2 weeks. He is waiting to get LDO approval from the village on the concrete repairs and all, and that I did see come through, so he should be just touching up the project manual, and then we'll be ready to get it out on the street, so.
What, so we're not talking about doing the whole walkway?
He's talking about mitigating any issues now before we do the major landscape.
But eventually we will?
Doing the sections that require it.
Yes,
Yeah,
okay.
kind of like the concrete, we're not repouring all of the curb, but there are sections that need
Sections,
to be
okay.
replaced and
Piecemeal.
guttered, yep. so we
Okay.
do it twice.
Very good. All right, so we are working on that.
So we are going to have Johnson Engineering look at it and decide what sections to do.
That's what they're doing. That's a part of it. It's identification of those locations in a map, and they did most of
Walkway, I'm
it.
talking walkway.
Yeah,
Ultimately, will this
Down the road.
include from Wyndham all the way up to this clubhouse?
anywhere there's a road that we're doing. That's the sidewalks go of the road. It's part of the transportation system, so.
Chuck, once that's engineering's done with, that's going to be the bid package, correct?
That's exactly it.
Do we have to wait to have another meeting, or can you send it out right away?
No, I can go ahead and send it out right away, and I'll coordinate with them because we're going to want a mandatory pre-bid. Bring your contractors in, make sure everybody gets all their questions answered and everybody's on the same level playing field. And Tony actually has a document that goes to the front of it in terms of a formal contract agreement, so.
There's a couple of things that I just want to make sure Johnson Engineering takes into account. I mean, first of
There's
all,
some specific areas, certainly email them to me. I'll
Yeah.
Make sure I cross-check them with them.
But we're talking about the bike path too.
Yeah, sidewalk, bike
Sidewalks,
path,
everything.
Rascal
All right.
path.
Because there is
the
that.
rascal path.
Because in front of the pump house, there's always that big dip.
yeah, I mean, just for the I guess, the audience, the water runoff. I talk to people who run, there's trip hazards, it's uneven, it's not well lit. Those are kind of some of the things that I guess I think about. Also, in '21, when the community did a survey, I know 60% of the community says that they use that walkway more than once a week. So that's more than the pool, the fitness center, and the community center added together. That walkway gets a lot of traffic.
Absolutely. And just a heads up on that dip you mentioned at the pump house, that's going to have to be coordinated with FP&L because it's their box. It's a splice box that they're going to have to raise up so we can, have a level path. And also, too, that's one of the darkest areas in the community.
Yeah, that is.
And I could use, that's an FP&L issue. We need to get maybe a light or two more there.
We're doing landscape lighting on the path on the reconstruction, right?
We're hoping to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the lighting's kind of another subject altogether, but that is a lease power maintenance agreement with FPL, and I'm sure that that has long run out its term. It's just in the continuing compact renewal every year. It may be time to take a look at those and maybe talk about changing those out to LED, something that's maybe a little more decorative than what we had originally, and you can just start a whole new lease power lease agreement.
Now, is that with us or with the HOA?
I think that's HOA.
It's with the HOA.
Yeah, 'cause-
That's something, and I've got their latest catalog. I'll be happy to share with the HOA. It shows all the different designs
Yeah.
for street lighting and sidewalk lighting.
And they did go through and put LED banks in them. They have done
So when
that.
they, just so I understand, so that when they do all the lights, it's just a lease? We
Yeah,
don't pay-
that would have been a lease agreement.
Yeah, we pay like
Those all have-
$25 a light or
Those all
something.
have FPL identification numbers.
Yeah.
So if one goes out, you call them with the number, you enter it into their system online.
Okay,
Yeah, little-
There just aren't enough of them.
no, that's right. Lloyd, oh, I'm sorry. Mark?
Eileen, I know, I believe there was an earlier discussion as the reason that multi-use path is in such disarray is from the live oaks. Has there been any talk or discussion what's going to happen? I mean, I hate to fix it, and then 4 or 5 years we're down the road with the same thing over and over again.
Well, we can't cut them all down, unfortunately.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
And what you end up doing is you end up cutting the roots.
And
Yeah.
putting that barrier,
You can put a barrier in there. They have a fabric that has a chemical impregnated in it. They also have a hard shield barrier that they're introducing nowadays. It's a little less
No, that
invasive to
works.
install.
That's
so good,
They
remember?
do need to
Yeah.
be cut. I mean, if you're going to remove a section of the asphalt, you have to deal with the roots that are underneath.
We
there.
did that.
Cut those out.
Going from 9 to...
9, remember we did that, yeah.
We did it there.
Remember how bad that path was? Yeah.
so yes, it is being considered. So, we're not going to put good over bad.
There was some talk at one time of possibly putting pavers down.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not only
they'll
that,
settle and...
It's all expensive and it's
I think it ends
Did
up
you win that $500 million lottery?
Yeah. They're a tripping hazard when they're level. I mean, they can put a snag on them.
Terrible for rascals, too.
Yeah, not
Too much.
bike friendly or skateboard friendly, that's for sure.
Right.
Just to go back, I have one question. Are they still planning on putting in that area, storage unit?
The far end is going to be a storage unit, yes.
Okay, so that's a confirmed.
That was confirmed and approved by the village, and we don't have a problem with that. Lloyd?
I don't remember how many years ago, we had those heads replaced out there by FPL, and they are LEDs.
Yeah, they can,
Okay.
there's still lights down from the storm. At the end of window, there's,
Yeah, those are what, spun fiberglass, so
Yeah.
years of weed whacking around the base of it.
Oh, they're- I had an employee back into one day and
We
knock
were
it down.
after them to replace them, and they said, you go right ahead, it's your expense. We're
Yeah.
not replacing it. We'll just do what's in there already.
Okay.
Well, I'll send you over the catalog, maybe start the dialogue, I'll give you the contact that's in the LED lighting department.
Okay.
And if you
That'll be
want to have
good.
that conversation, see where you can get with them.
We'll give it,
I was for Friday as well.
we'll give that, thank you.
That's a lot of difference. Real quick, Chuck, did you mention the storm gutters on the side of the road?
Yeah,
We're talking, so-
that's part of the concrete work.
Yeah,
Yep.
perfect.
Only where it's required. So.
Yeah, no issue.
Chuck, what's the time frame for parking lot, Duffy's?
Next week.
Guys settled in on, the first
Starts Thursday.
Soon, I told you, soon.
Tuesday of June, and
Really?
I think it's a 4 or 5 night process, I believe, so yeah.
Okay.
So start thinking exactly where you want those handicap spots.
Okay. I know where I want them. And how many,
I hope I get a
they
handicap
stated
thing
how
after
many
my
you need?
surgery. I'm gonna use this shit.
Whatever the quantity is up there now, you just want to relocate them.
Right,
Help me
okay.
out for it.
Very good.
And I don't know that they'll have the finished signs. So signs are a bit of a problem right now, as you can imagine, so.
Well, if they can keep-
You can paint the pavement, you may not actually have the physical sign or move the sign that you have now, but in their proposal is new signs to go with those.
Okay, well, if we can use the old ones temporarily until we get new
Yeah.
ones, yeah, we'll make sure that they
They're
don't.
also,
They're very nice.
they're also taking out that piece that we wanted removed.
Yes,
Yeah, the teardrop.
Yeah.
You have a more straight shot out.
Yeah.
Yes, that actually took a separate action, and the village approved that as an amendment to the
That's so
LDO.
nice of them.
Great.
yes. Well, and sooner or later, somebody's going to slam that on into somebody, so.
And I allowed them the opportunity to revise their proposal. You'll remember, it was originally about 180. Because of the increases in price, we're up to 188. So
No big deal.
I saw that as a no-brainer.
No.
It's been 6 or 8 months since their original proposal, and prices have fluctuated.
It's not bad, okay.
Does that incorporate the additional
Yep.
pavement as well with that teardrop being removed?
Yes, sir. Yes, that's all included. There's extra concrete work there, removal, new concrete work.
Yeah, that's
Great.
Okay, and then when they get the signs, they bring them back.
Yeah, the signs are part of the package. I just don't think they're going to have those with this, unfortunately.
As long as they can take the other ones and put them where
Yeah.
we need them. Okay, perfect. Okay. Pro Shop and Duffy's, Lisa? Lisa? Hello?
You want me to go up there, or you're okay with me here?
Wherever you're comfortable. What do we,
We can hear you just fine, right?
Okay.
yes, be comfortable.
All right.
Did I skip 6? Oh, I'm sorry.
I submitted my little spreadsheet again to everybody.
Yes.
And tried to answer as many questions as I think we had last time. As far as the parking lot lights go, I still believe Bentley is the best and the lowest, and they didn't recommend really revising or changing out the light poles
Okay.
and making them shorter. They think that the new heads should be adequate through the trees. We're going to do some trimming. I think it'll help a lot, but I don't think the poles are not really something we can do any sort of revision and alter.
Okay. So Bentley was a 9310? I think we, as long as we're doing the parking lot now, I think we should do the lighting.
Can they do it next week? That's
Possibly. I think that they have those fixtures
Okay.
in store.
be great. Good.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we go with Bentley for the parking lot lights and get it done as soon as possible, since we're having the parking lot done.
Second.
Discussion?
I've got a couple things. So the first thing is, the cost to upgrade these lights is like $9,000, right? The cost to put in new lights is between 20 and 25. These are fiberglass poles, they're 23 years old. The average life of a fiberglass pole is in that 20 to 30-year range. So I don't know how much money I want to invest in some old lights that are going to need to be replaced in another 5 to 10 years.
Or decent thunderstorm.
Yeah. The other thing, I think we as a board just need to think about what we want the parking lot to look like. Right now, the proposal has in there lights at 5,000 Kelvin, which means it's going to look more like a CarMax parking lot, really white lights. Do we want that white light effect, or do we want that kind of yellow country club effect? And, I'm not saying one's right or one's wrong. If we want brighter, it's going to look more like an airport or more like, a car lot. If we want the country club,
We can always
It's not.
test out a couple bulbs, I mean, there's, LED comes in a range, with
Yeah.
warm whites, or cool whites, or white whites,
Yeah.
daylight, dark night, night, I don't know, there's so many, we can
Yeah.
change them out and see.
yeah, and if
It's
we...
just the bulb.
If we decide to go with the fiberglass, like that's fine. Or if we were to replace the fiberglass, the lead time for new fiberglass poles is in a 24-week window. So if we're going to replace, concrete is probably the thing that's out there and available and a little bit more affordable. So before we make a decision, I just want everyone to understand, what are the options? Do you want to do this and then maybe pay for it again in the very near future? And if we do decide to go ahead, are we going with the country club look or the parking lot look?
Well, I don't want it to look like a car lot, but I want it bright. We need to have brighter lights. So, that's my biggest concern, because it's not bright enough out there.
I think one of the important things I think she said was they're a bulb rather than an array.
Yeah,
So you can change the bulb.
change the
If
bulbs.
you get an array, you can't change the whole head.
Right.
So that's one good thing you're looking at. No matter what, whether you put a 5 Kelvin or 4 Kelvin or 3 in, you can change it if you don't like it down the road, and that's probably where the bulbs run $30, $40 a piece. It'll cost you more than that if you get them in, but you can change if you don't like the.
Yeah.
I personally, I'm a lighting guy. I like bright lights. 5K is what I like. And people can see, you don't fall down, it doesn't shadow. It's the only way to go, but my wife won't like that. She doesn't like bright lights, so she's fine.
Well, I like the warm lights too, but
You're in a park.
in a parking lot like that, I just feel that, if it was outside my garage, no, I don't want it that bright.
I think we've stated, the bulbs can be adjusted.
Adjusted.
Let's talk about what we want to do with the poles. Do we want to do, which are, the guy's even saying they're already brittle. Did we lose any during the storm?
No.
In that parking lot? That's impressive. I guess probably the trees protected them.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying.
So,
Do we, of course, now we're
Push
pushing
it down.
further down the road again.
The good news is, Bentley has come out, they've put new bulbs in, it's way better than it was.
Sure it is better than it was, yeah, agreed.
But, are we taking a Band-Aid off and just putting a bigger Band-Aid on? And, I don't know that I have the right answer for it. I just want us to make an informed decision.
well,
The 3 times as much, right?
Yeah,
If I'm reading this right, it says new shorter 12 poles, right down here in the highlighted area.
12.
Yeah, at 1,600
Well,
each, it'd be
1,600.
28,000.
28,000.
So it works out
19 heads,
almost.
so some of them are double, some of them.
How's that fun doing?
I don't know. How's that fun doing this? Maybe in the summer report.
So does the 9,300 include new heads or just the bulbs?
New
No,
heads,
it's the heads.
new heads and bulbs.
So they're recommending just replacing the bulbs.
No,
New
heads.
heads.
The head
Fixtures.
I mean, down here.
We got several different kinds of heads out there now, this way they don't be uniform.
Oh, okay.
So it'd be the fixture and the bulbs. Going to LED.
Fire balance. Okay.
Well, the question is, those fixtures and bulbs, can they be put on new poles? Retrofit onto a new pole?
I think they can.
Sure they can.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the 1,600 each would be.
And you'll get new poles with it, you get new poles and everything.
That's the bottom, I'm talking about the top on the 9,300, just replacing the fixtures and bulbs, right?
Yeah, you just,
The fixture, the heads and the bulbs, not the poles. So those can be reused onto new poles if we decide we want to replace poles.
Poles still have some life, you don't want to cut them in half, but they're pretty sturdy.
yeah, it says here in the report, the poles which are already brittle.
Well, yeah, you don't want to cut them.
Because some of them need to be lowered. Just because they're above the tree canopy.
Yeah, and they can cut them, they would cut them from the bottom side.
Yeah, they're secure and they're strong, but you don't want to.
Yeah, I'm a numbers guy,
But they're not going to fall, they're just.
and we're 80% of the way through the life, and we're investing 33% into an upgrade, you know. My numbers kind of tell me, invest a little bit more and go new.
And did you say concrete poles too?
Concrete poles are a little bit more cost-effective, and they last longer, and they're more available right now.
Yeah, because we still have to put.
Chuck?
I would tell you that, as far as the pickleball courts, the pole we lost during the hurricane,
Can you afford 30,000?
not.
Is this 20 or
That was, if memory serves me right, that,
projected?
Metal.
yeah, metal pole, okay.
I'm in the budget.
Oh,
Is this accurate? Or is this-
financials.
Page 6.
What are you guys looking at?
We still,
Page 6 of the budget.
On the budget.
We're projecting 262.
I think the financial is also going to that. It will look a lot stronger if the pro shop reflected rent payments. So I think it would be substantially more, which might help your
It's going to be, that's why I say,
review
if
of funds.
you guys want to bite the bullet and replace those, I'd say let's do it.
Okay.
You can certainly.
I think Adam brings up really good points. They're originals, unless some of them have been replaced, and who knows, that's...
Yeah, I did look at the permitting to see if I could see, but I don't think it's even a permittable thing to replace an existing pole, you know, so.
shouldn't be.
Oh, you'd be surprised what the village can come up with.
Like for like maybe, but go to concrete, you probably have to have a permit.
We will certainly reach out to the village.
Well, I
I'm sure
will
they'll figure out a
pull
way to get a fee.
Yeah, and again,
That
like,
catalog.
just for the audience, you know, we've talked about, like, the trees are there. I don't think there's much appetite to cut the trees down, and the lights are above the tree line. So no matter what we do with the existing poles, we're going to have that continuing, ongoing problem. So it'd be my suggestion to get a concrete pole which is lower to the ground with whatever color flavor the board
Maybe
desires.
use decorative poles like the ones you might be replacing, and you have all of them match.
More of like that,
And I
like a nice
I will
shape
say
to it, and, yeah.
that it'll probably be a lot easier to get a permit from the town to do the poles, because if we take a tree out, we've got to replace them all. And we don't really want
And taking trees out of a parking lot with shade trees is a little bit different animal
Yeah, so-
inside medians.
How much is a concrete pole going to cost?
what's the 1,600 represent? Is that
Yeah.
Replace them with
That's
share?
probably fiberglass.
Yeah.
That's shorter, just a shorter fiberglass? And concrete might be cheaper than that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then we need to look at that. It's
Yeah.
probably $1,000 pole instead of
Yeah, I reached out to Steve at Bentley just because they seem to be the best one out there. And he seemed to recommend strongly that concrete would be the best way forward. So this isn't my line of business. I just tried to put my financials and match the two together.
to. So he's thinking the concrete would be less than the fiberglass poles?
Correct.
Bless you.
But concrete poles,
Much
like,
longer life expectancy.
yeah, the concrete poles are like 3500.
So-
Then you just got to decide what they're more put on.
Yeah, they cost more.
Right.
You want to go decorative, you want to do a shoe box.
So we're in,
So can we make,
Complicated this.
are-
we're in 1,900 times 12. Good price.
Yeah, with the concrete poles and everything, it'll be likely in the 20 to 25,000.
56,000 then?
No.
Well, right now-
Almost double
Right now.
the-
Steve indicated it'd be kind of in the 25 to 30 range for concrete poles with new fixtures and the LED lights.
3,500 apiece.
Well, this says 28,000.
That's for fiberglass.
Yeah. So it's going to be more than 28,000.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
it's
Twice
like
that.
double.
Twice that.
Yeah.
What he said, it would be between 20 and 25 for concrete install. So he's gonna send something across.
Well, that's not 3,500 piece.
Yeah.
The 3,500 apiece was for the fiberglass, I believe.
It's got 1,600 for the fiberglass.
Yeah, I see that.
Shorter poles.
I suggest we get another proposal. And I'll be happy to take the lead on it.
Okay. Lisa, can you get us some concrete poles and some pretty fixtures
Lisa, thank you.
with multiple colored lights?
Flashing.
With the remote, we have the remote and just change it.
Flashing,
Yes,
high pressure sodium look. And
yes. I can change it with the season. So, yes, if you could do that, and, yeah. Adam will be your contact, Lisa?
Okay, great.
All right. All right. Okay. More bids, we have more stuff.
Okay, the concession stand, shutters. The last time we met, it was about possibly just doing the accordion style and installing them manually, but that required a lower track, and they all agreed that that would be more difficult because of the way the counter is situated.
Okay.
So it's much easier to just do the manual, put them together sort of thing, because it's above.
Okay. And how, that was,
Lowest was Storm Smart.
okay. I'd like to do that.
Yeah, we need to move forward with that.
Okay. I make a motion to have
Wait, you're saying accordion shutters?
Manual
Yeah.
boarding shutter.
Yeah, it says, Storm Smart says will not do
Oh, they would not do the,
accordion shutters.
yeah, because of the bottom track and the issue with the countertop.
Isn't
They wouldn't
accordion
even
shutters
bother
the
looking
ones?
The motorized ones.
This one, yeah, the other one has a track at the top.
I think is the 2,900.
So we're talking about the manual roll down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, Lisa, the one that's highlighted on here says manual roll down from Storm Smart, 2,900.
Yeah, unless you want the motorized. Okay,
Nothing with a motor.
No,
so manual closed.
right.
Great.
No motor.
Okay, so I make a motion to have Storm Smart do the manual roll down on the concession stand.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next one is painting the building.
Yes, I did go back and added in all the little shacks that sound like now we're going to replace a few. So, but we did add that, and then also there was some issues about Duffy's around that little chimney area, their exhaust fan, where some stucco is cracked and needs to have some repairs done. So that added on to our price a little bit and brought it up to 20.
It's okay.
Okay.
We were at 17, but this includes pretty much everything. All the metal gates, the metal, at the cart barn, those metal shutters, those screens.
I think this will look great.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, we talked about painting it so that it matches the guard shack, that color. Thank you.
Let's see what we have.
With origami white trim, yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, I make a motion to have Northern do the painting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
I also looked into adding some lighting by the stairs, where the new papers are behind Duffy's.
Yes.
And Bentley gave me a price for like 2 bollards that was $6,500 because of the trenching to get power to those little poles. So I started looking into solar.
Good idea.
You stick them in the ground and they'll light up. We can get a whole bunch of them.
Yes.
You know what?
We can get a few.
Or you can do the poles like Duffy did and run the ones across the top.
You do that.
Pretty. But I think it might be better. There's some really nice looking ones that look
Yeah.
just like the electric ones, and, we can change them out. They're so inexpensive.
I haven't,
Change them every year.
I had an issue on my walkway at my home where, same issue, I couldn't run power through the concrete, I had to drill through the concrete and undermine it. So I got solar, and they've lasted like 5 years, and they're wonderful.
Yeah.
I can't believe how great they are.
That's great.
And they look like
They're gonna look really nice.
they do, they look professional, like they're mounted and everything. I'm surprised how well they've lasted.
Right.
Okay. Let's go with the solar.
Okay.
Are the,
Solar.
are the driving range lights, I guess, now coinciding with the opening hours of Duffy's?
Yeah, I
Okay.
believe so.
Yeah.
There's been no.
So that
But
left,
they're
like,
not, but they don't stay on after a certain period of time. We're trying to extend the time. 10 o'clock now?
10 o'clock.
That's great.
And the patio closes at 11?
Yeah.
Duffy's closes at 11?
Yeah,
I'm in bed way
I think
before
10 or 11.
that.
I think it is 11.
it's 11.
Yeah, it is 11.
Yeah, we could glass
Yes,
it
it
up
means something for
from time to
every 1 hour,
time.
but it does light it up.
Move it up to 10 o'clock.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm just thinking, like, until those lights are installed in the stairs, should we increase the lights to the opening hours of Duffy's? 11 o'clock.
Sure. Increase them to 11.
No problem.
Okay.
Just-
I mean, we can back it off, but like, I feel like we installed some stairs that
Yep.
need to be lit.
Yeah, it needs to be safe.
Yes.
It's got to be lit, yeah, until we get a solution.
Until we get our solar lights.
Yes, and our banisters.
Do you guys want to see what they would be, or
As long as it's not hideous, I
if
trust
you
you.
don't like them, we'll trade them out till the next month?
Yes.
Or 5 years.
Lisa, I did talk with the guy who's lit up my house, and he talked about a commercial grade roll-type light, and I asked how long is the warranty, he said 3 years, and I'm like, what are we talking about? He's like, you got 70 feet or thereabouts, it's like 10 grand. So I kind of like the solar.
Solar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
That's crazy.
One of the things you look at for solar is they make a paper insert for
Okay.
solar.
Yeah.
So on like this, the ones, you can actually replace the paper with a solar insert.
Yeah.
That lights the paper up.
Nice.
And for you guys to sell a house, the papers are good. It's like, wow.
Yeah. Those little, they're little round discs or
No,
something?
no, no, it's the paper.
Oh, yeah, they're like, okay, yeah. Yeah, those are pretty too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
and they're cheap.
that's your mission.
Can we get
Okay.
this?
Petty cash.
Are we done?
I don't know. I think, I don't have any more money to spend here, Yesman.
Can we get this in our agenda?